In most law enforcement agencies, passing the background check is usually the final hurdle you must cross before getting accepted to the academy. It is critical for applicants seeking to join law enforcement to understand what happens and how to prepare for this challenge. Here's what you need to know about the background investigation. If your application is complete when it comes into the office, it's usually logged into a background investigation spreadsheet, and the background investigator starts a folder for your application. This presentation will list all the topics usually investigated. Chronological order will vary. Tests that are more expensive to administer are usually given later in the process for obvious reasons. Two major items that are covered in depth in my separate tutorials are the truthfulness verification, like the polygraph or CVSA, and the psychological exam. Therefore, these topics are not covered in this presentation. First, your educational records will be verified. For example, a good background investigator will not only review your high school and college transcripts, but they're likely going to talk to your teachers and professors to ask about your attitude, your work ethic, and your demeanor in class. The background investigator may also pull a report on you that includes everything from property ownership to relatives to places that you lived when you were a kid, and compare this information to your application. They will not only look at the various places you have lived, but they will talk to landlords, roommates, and even your parents to see if you are a responsible resident. The investigator will also pull your driver license history to see what violations you have collected. If there's more than one page, that is not good, as it often indicates a DUI, suspension, or insurance problems. If you have any prior military experience, the investigator will send for your records. If there are any problems with that, the investigator will stop processing your application and issue you a thanks but no thanks letter. The investigator will check a variety of law enforcement databases for any prior arrest records and compare this information with what you put on your application. He or she will not only find out your current credit score, but they will delve into your credit history to see how responsible you are when it comes to handling your finances. There are lots of articles on the internet that can help you quickly improve your credit score or resolve damaging issues. The background investigator will then move to even more personal issues and will likely interview your family, your neighbors, your references, and your friends. At many agencies, the background investigators will travel to each candidate's hometown, regardless of where they grew up, and talk to friends, neighbors, teachers, and of course the local cops. The investigator will obviously interview your references, but they're also interested in people that you didn't list on your application. After all, they want to get an accurate picture of you, and they can't do that by talking only to people whose information you provided. It's okay to let people know that someone from a law enforcement agency may be contacting them as a reference, but do not ask them to lie about your background. The investigators are going to find out the truth regardless, and discovering that you have friends who are willing to lie for you will not speak well for your own moral character. The same applies to previous supervisors. Once again, be sure to contact these references and let them know what's going on. If he or she discovers any differences between your application and reality, such as a poor employment history, or if the investigator is unable to contact your references, then he or she may likely send you a thanks but no thanks letter. Many agencies will conduct a home interview. If not, they will probably interview over the phone. While many candidates get nervous over this, it's pretty straightforward. They're looking to see if there are any inconsistencies with your story. Obviously, you want to have your place cleaned and be dressed appropriately. Now, if you have 3 girlfriends and you said on your application that you're married, you're going to be in trouble. If you have a bonk or some joints laying around, you're going to be in trouble. If you drive a fancy Mercedes on a meager salary, you'll be in trouble also. You get the idea. If you've made it this far, consider yourself in really good shape, as the vast majority of applicants do not get to this phase. The final steps of the process are your medical screening and drug testing. The medical and drug screen are pretty cut and dried. No drugs in your system, and you will not drop dead tomorrow. The question to be answered is, are you able to physically perform the task associated with being a sworn officer? If you're unsure about the background process, contact the agency's recruiter, or in a small agency, contact a member of the command staff, human resources, or other appropriate person. Don't worry in silence or rely on possibly erroneous information provided by friends. Go straight to the agency. And if there's something bothering you about your own background, be forthcoming. If you had a DUI at 16, tell them. If you were arrested for shoplifting when you were 19, confess that before they find out. If possible, try to develop a relationship with your investigator and let them know that you're an open book and you're willing to help them find the sources they are seeking. Smaller departments will conduct their own investigations. Larger agencies may hire an outside contractor to complete the investigation. Make sure that during the entire process you are available, transparent, and cooperative. Going through the application process for a law enforcement position is a rigorous and time-consuming process. My best advice to candidates who get frustrated by the delays is to be patiently aggressive. When you are looking for a job, from your point of view, you are the only thing that matters in the world, and that's okay. However, remember that the hiring staff are dealing with many people at the same time. Don't take their silence personally. Call for answers, but also be patient. Good luck. To learn more about this prep course, click on the link with the badge. To subscribe to my YouTube channel, click on the logo with my image. On the right, you will find a playlist of additional videos that I have published regarding law enforcement entrance exam preparation. Thanks for watching.